and welcome to the Phenomenal Woman series. I'm your host, Nicole. My guest today is a corporate communications executive. She holds a master's degree in communication for behavioral change from the University of the West Indies. She's also a big advocate for women's rights and children, which spans Jamaica and internationally as well. My guest today is Makeda Ramgeet. Welcome, Makeda. Tell us, who is Makeda Ramgeet?
I consider myself to be a very passionate person. I'm passionate about life. I'm passionate about all the things that I do, everything that I get involved in. I'm a go-getter. I'm a hard worker. I'm a fighter. And I believe that I'm usually the conscience in a room. I'm always standing up for others. I'm always speaking for those who cannot speak. And that's just pretty much who I am.
You say you're the conscience of the room. Explain what does that mean?
I usually not look at things at the surface. I usually look at things a whole lot deeper. Why things are the way they are, why people are the way they are, what causes something to be the way it is. You know, there's a saying, to every action there's a reaction. I like to study the mind. I like to study what makes us act the way we act, what makes us who we are. Are we affected by our environment? Are we affected by the way we're socialized? So on and so forth. So I'm usually the deeper type of person. And being the conscience usually means that I'm the mediator. I'm always trying to solve problems. I'm always trying to make sure that everybody gets along, sort of that word peace sort of thing. That's just who I am.
Makeda, tell me, what three things makes a woman phenomenal?
I believe a phenomenal woman is usually a woman with passion, a woman with purpose, and a woman who has her own uniqueness. In saying that, what are you passionate about in life? What do you stand for? What's your purpose? Are you just here, or are you here for a purpose? What do you believe in? So that's what I consider a phenomenal woman, to possess all these qualities.
You're a corporate communications executive. You hold a master's degree in communication for behavioral change. You're very accomplished. You are an advocate for women's rights and child abuse issues. Tell us about these passions that you've developed over the years.
Nicole, I believe that I developed this passion from a very early age. As a survivor of child abuse and a survivor of domestic abuse, I decided to use these as my platform to get the word out there. As I mentioned earlier, I like to be the voice of the voiceless for women who are being abused, or for women's rights issue, not necessarily just abuse, but for example, that equal pay that we so desire. I mean, if we could go back in time, we know that we had Michael Manley who tried to advocate for these equal rights, but truth be told, it's just not there as yet in Jamaica. And I really have a passion to work with children, work with the youth, and to ensure that they are not abused. And these skill sets I developed very early on. And so over the years, I volunteered with like the Victim Support Unit of Jamaica. I have worked with abused children, be it from gun violence to sexual abuse, so on and so forth. When I decided to lobby and to speak on the issues of women, I thought the only way that I could get my voice out there was to go to the decision makers. And so I got involved in politics a bit and I run for office. I'm not going to go too much in detail on that, but again, recently I was also appointed as the vice president of the Jamaican Women Political Caucus, and I took this role up because the caucus itself, even though it's non-partisan, it seeks to work with women both locally and internationally to get us at that place where we're treated equally as well on rights, so on and so forth. Not too long ago, I also got in touch with the Women's March. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but the Women's March is an international organization, and we try to also have an arm locally here in Jamaica. And I was privileged to be interviewed by the Poland's women's rights group, and I tried to highlight the different issues that we were having here in Jamaica, because one of the big things that we try to sweep under the carpet is the fact that domestic abuse is very high here in Jamaica, so as well as sexual abuse. So these are the issues that I'm very passionate about, equal rights for women and also in protecting our children.
So your contribution to women's issues transcends not only the Jamaican boundaries, but international as well. So you're highly accomplished, a phenomenal woman indeed.
Wow, Nicole. I try to make my contribution where possible. I really try to.
March 8 is celebrated universally as International Women's Day, and the plight of women continues to resonate across the globe. Tell me, as a collective, what would you say are the biggest challenges that we as women face, and as it pertains to the relationship between women, what do you see that we need to do more?
I think we've come a very far way, Nicole, in terms of who we are as women, in terms of taking up our place, because 100 years ago, even up to 50 years ago, a woman could not even vote. We just didn't have these rights. And so we have accomplished quite a bit. It's 2021, although we still have a long way to go. And when I say this, as women, I think we can support each other a little bit more. We can empower each other. I think a lot of time we lose out on the opportunity where, for example, we might see a younger woman who needs some assistance from an older woman as an older sister. We can reach out to them and say, try doing things this way, or teach them what we know, so on and so forth. So that's what I really yearn to see: sisters supporting sisters, empowering each other, motivating each other, helping each other, even in climbing the ladder. I mean, right here in Jamaica, we have a lot of women who are at the leadership position, but if they're to get to that place where they can reach out and help another woman in the organization to move up, it's usually no, and I keep the information up under my arm. And I mean, when one sister reaches, then another sister will reach, and we each can celebrate that. So that's what I would love to see.
Makeda, you lead a busy corporate communication lifestyle. You're an executive, as well as you advocate for women and children, but you're also a mother. Tell me, how do you find time to balance both sides of your life?
I find it very easy, Nicole, in the sense that I've always been an organized person. Even as a child, I was always the one that took charge, even of my siblings, so on and so forth. So I'd say that I got a lot of practice, and I got it very early. I have a beautiful 8-year-old daughter. Oh gosh, she makes motherhood so much easy, in the sense that I hear a lot of parents who really have challenges, and it can be very challenging, but my daughter, I must say, she really makes it easy for me. And in terms of balancing motherhood and career, I prioritize. There are times when I know that it is the time for my daughter, and there are times that I know it's work. So our waking hours is spent with her. I listen to her stories. They're very interesting. She's a very creative child, and I love upon her, and I make her feel appreciated. I let her feel loved. I also have have 10 beautiful godchildren. Years ago, I was told by specialists that I would not be able to conceive because I have endometriosis. But as we can see, I'm now a mother, so the Lord did bless me. So what happened was that I went about taking on all my friends' children because I really love children. You can tell from my passion of working with them over the years. But I'm telling you, it's the best gift that I've ever gotten to be a mommy. I love it. Wouldn't trade it for the world. And I think to date, it's the best job that I've ever really had.
So, Makeda, you says purpose, passion, and uniqueness makes a woman phenomenal. What makes Makeda Ramgeet phenomenal?
Well, that's a very big title to give to me, Nicole. Personally, I'm a go-getter. I'm a survivor. I'm a hard worker, but I'm very passionate about anything that I do. Sometimes I'm too much of a perfectionist because anything that I start, I have to complete it and I have to make sure that it has an impact. Apart from just being a phenomenal woman, I know that I have purpose, and I try to demonstrate these purposes by the influences, by working with the youth, as I mentioned earlier, by working with women on various issues, by making my contribution, by being that motivator, by being that mentor that the younger youth, children, so on that I work with, for example, the school board that I sit on, so on and so forth, that in working and making my contribution to society, that at the end of the day it has some form of impact. And even though I'd love to save the world, I know that I can't. But when you talk about that phenomenal woman, your purpose, what you stand for, what drives you, what motivates you, at the end of the day, I want to know that I have made that impact. Even if it's just on one person, that they can look back and say, Makeda helped me here, or Makeda assisted me to do something. So at the end of the day, I want to know that I made an impact, that my life was a purpose, and to just continue being passionate about life, to be passionate about issues, and to be passionate about helping those around me. And that's what I think would make me a phenomenal woman.
Impact, purpose, passion. That's what makes Makeda Ramgeet a phenomenal woman. You've been watching the Phenomenal Woman series. I'm Nicole. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for other episodes in the series.